So we're here, episode 3 of the Uncommon Sense podcast. I'm joined today by one of the premier CrossFit guys in Canada, Mike Deboever. Is that how you say your name?
Yeah, Deboever.
Deboever. Okay, cool.
It's a Belgian name. So I moved here 12 years ago. So yeah.
Jeez. Okay. There you go. Very nice. Okay. So first off, you are the owner of CrossFit YUL. You are part owner, group owner.
No, I'm a sole owner of
sole owner. Look at this guy. Sole owner. Okay.
Like at the beginning, I wanted to open it with my best friend there, but I'm partnered with Reebok Canada and Reebok International, and so
right.
They suggested that I stay the only owner and
the sole owner.
Yeah, it was actually the best choice. I'm still best friend with my best friend.
That's right. Don't miss business and pleasure. I tried to start a kind of a fitness company with a couple of friends and stuff, and it was okay for the first part, but yeah, money and business and friends. If you don't have the right kind of people, it gets real tough to kind of delegate between the two. That's for sure.
Yeah. But don't confuse friendship and business.
That's it. Okay, so today we're talking about fitness industry, what we've been going through as far as the lockdown, everything that's been happening. Currently, I'm working at Biner Training, which we're not CrossFit, but we're kind of functional fitness. We do a lot of different things, but I'm sure we've been going through the same kind of thing that you've been going through. Especially CrossFit. I love CrossFit. Been doing CrossFit for a couple of years now. Actually took my level 1 certification at your gym.
Really? Eh? So
yeah,
you've seen the space. That's awesome.
That's it. I took it about, I think it's got to be about 2 years now. 2 years ago that I took it with you guys.
So that's amazing. Yeah, that was in 2018, early 2018, in September. I remember.
Yeah. We took it then.
Early September, yeah.
Yeah, that was it. And you guys were doing all the fancy stuff. You had the guys from Laval. You had the one girl there who I think is actually with Jeff right now. Jeff Adler was with Jeff Adler in the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, Caroline. She's a good friend.
Yeah, that's it. I saw her on one of the documentaries. I was like, oh, I remember her. She was the one yelling at me, telling me I was doing my thrusters wrong. Okay, I got it.
Cool.
All right. So, so as far as the lockdown, how have you been dealing with everything that's been going on so far?
Whoa, not good. Not good, man. I mean, so the first lockdown, I have my opinion on the first lockdown, and then there's another opinion on the second one.
Right.
So the first lockdown, I was one of the first ones to close.
Right.
Friends in the U.S. and in Europe that were already closing. So I decided to just shut down, and thank God the government asked for it the next day, because it was a storm of people mad at me because I would close too early. So I closed half a day right before the government gave the announcement. So at first I was like, okay, this is what we're doing, and this is the right thing to do, and then but as it was going on, I started to ask myself questions. And I need food, so I would go to Costco,
right,
different grocery stores, and be like, what the hell? It's like, really? Like, we're closed, but then people are like that. And then schools started back, malls reopened, and finally we got to reopen. So I was a bit frustrated because it was a shock for my members, a shock for people. Whoa, what's going on? Whatever we took for granted, which was coaching and the support of a community and the motivation, the incredible motivation that every gym can get from within, we took it for granted, and so it was lost. So on the 22nd of June, when we got to reopen, I saw people that were not fit, not healthy, and it was a problem. It was a real problem. Finally, we got to reopen. We finally got to go, and it was tough to climb back up, that ladder, let's say, to come back to what we had before. We still didn't reach it. It was just, still very slow. The fear is still there.
Yeah.
Then early October, as you know, October 8th, just 8 days after restaurants got shut down, we were asked to shut down. And there, as I listened to the Prime Minister, I'm against it. I don't think it's the solution. I don't think it's the right thing to do, to close gyms, because obviously mental health and everything that goes with it, as well as working on your physical health, has a greater impact on your general health, as you know. I think that the problem doesn't come from us. Now, it's very tough to prove it and show it. Really, really tough. Even though a lot of owners are going to say, "Look, we have no cases and stuff." We really can't really prove this.
Yeah.
We might be, carrying that virus, but without knowing it. So anyway, the Prime Minister closed, and then when he spoke a few days ago to just say that we were going to close for another 4 weeks, I was not surprised, and obviously 10 people a day that are dying is way too many. Are we doing the right thing with all these stores open and schools still open? I honestly don't know, but I don't want to imagine the opposite. I don't want schools and stores to be closed and us gym owners to be open. I think there's a middle ground that we could find a solution, and we could, really work with the government instead of being mad at the government. I think we should work with them to prevent any sort of spread of that virus. There are other preventions that we could do better than any sort of grocery stores, and that are just as essential, and that will actually help with this virus. So the problem is, we can't be mad at our government, and we can't be mad at those who are still open, the businesses. I think that we need to realize that the education about prevention for health, and the education with what fitness could do and the role that we have needs to be done. Like right now, I don't think the government wants to shut us down just because it's the easiest way to go. I think they shut us down because they don't know. Like they generally don't understand the impact that we could have on the society, and that we could actually help and be part of the solution. We're not the solution, but we're definitely not the problem. We're not even one bit of the problem. But that's, instead of being mad, I think we should educate people. I had tough conversations with my members on the first lockdown where, people were actually mad that we were closed. Right now, and I would be with them. Right now, we're closed. They're mad, but I educate them. There's a way to go about this where there's nothing we could do, but we need to flatten this curve. And until you get someone with this virus in your family, direct family, friends, uncles, girlfriend, parents, sister, brother, we don't know. And I personally don't have any cases in my family or friends. I'm very lucky about that, apparently. But until we get that, we shouldn't be mad. Like, what we need to be doing is educate people. Those are tough times, thinking that malls being open are making a ton of money. No, they're not. They're struggling as well. They're open, but they're struggling. And when you have only 3 clients per 20 minutes in your store, it doesn't make sense to be open.
That's right.
And they don't get support from the government by doing that. So Yeah, the big thing is it's not a question of being against or for the government. I think it's we should all work together. That like no, will this vaccine work? Is this really toxic for the human body? We don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not educated enough on this for that. What I'm educated about is fitness and health.
Yeah.
That I can do. That I can do. And so, am I stopped right now? No, not at all. Like, I can totally. I do that with each and every one of my members, and I contact them, members and ex-members. I work a lot with Belgium and France, and the French president just announced today total and complete lockdown of the entire country. So this is brutal for Europe. It's going to shake Europe. A lot of owners are like really frustrated, and what I see is a lot of them are trying to find solutions for their members, and they're frustrated because their members are stopping membership. And what we need to do is regardless of members stopping membership or continuing membership, what we need to keep doing is what we were doing the very first day. Educate people, show them that we actually care about everybody. We don't, it's not because someone gives me money that I care about them. It's not because someone doesn't give me money that I don't care about them. I care about people. That's what it is. That's my job. Like, I'm not a banker. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an engineer. And coaches care. And if people don't understand that, if coaches and gym owners don't understand that caring is extremely important, they're going to be out of business. There's stuff that we can't control, and it's the government closing us. Yes, I can walk in the street. Yes, I can try to do something illegally. Yes, I could do that. But is this going to bring me somewhere? I think that what the most important part is my current members and the people that, unfortunately had to stop their membership, those who might be coming back, and those who might be interested in CrossFit or functional training later on, 2021, if we get to reopen then, if we get to be functioning somewhat normally, what is going to be my impact in my community and in my neighborhood? Like, are they going to say, well, this is the guy who yelled out? This is the guy who stood up and lost? Or is it the guy who helped us out? I think that it is time to help out people. I'm struggling. I don't have a salary. I have bills to pay. November 1st, I have a full rent to pay. Whoa. I might crash. Like I'm telling you, Reebok CrossFit YUL might be crashing. And it might be done. Okay, cool. But Mike Deboever is not done. The heartbeat is still there. That's me.
Yeah.
Right. So if I start yelling and if I start screaming and going on social media to yell out, that's not the solution. What I could do is go on social media and educate people on what a hollow rock is, what a normal handstand hold against the wall is, what is squat therapy, The last day, October 7th, I told each and every one of my members that came that day, I told them, listen, guys, this is an opportunity for us to work on stuff that we don't really like all the time, like squat therapy, planks, hollow hold. And I want you guys to come back when we get to reopen with the strongest core, the best mobility. We can't, we might lose a bit of strength because you don't have equipment at home, or we might not have the push our friends have, or the spot of a coach, or you might not have that for now. But what you do have is time to stretch, time to work on your core, time to educate yourself a bit more about what health and fitness is. And I will support that. And I send them every single day, multiple things, multiple links and books to read. That they do it or not, that's one thing I can't control. I told one of my friends yesterday, I'm like, one thing we did not decide is to be put in the water. The government put us in the water. But what we could decide is to learn how to swim.
Yeah.
So it is our time, and it is to us to focus on what's positive and to try to see what can I do in my own little world to better myself in order to better others around me.
Yeah.
I was. That's my point of view on this whole thing.
No, and I think it's a great way to kind of deal with stuff. I know personally because I was, before the shutdown, the first one, I was working at CrossFit UPT, and then that same thing. We had to shut down. We couldn't do anything, and they had to put everybody like on furlough. Right now, they're still. It's only.
So you know my good friend Jerry Stefanodos.
Yes, of course, Jerry.
Jerry,
of course.
Yeah. Great people.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, even the guys who own it, the guys who run it, they were like, "Listen, man, like, we're sorry, but like, we can't. The business can't maintain. Like, we're gonna have to work 12-hour days, and we're gonna have to do it all for ourselves for now. And like, we can't pay any outside coaches right now because we don't have the class sizes. People aren't coming back. I think I'm in contact with them at least once a week just to make sure everybody's doing okay." And they're like, yeah, before we were like still somewhere between 60% capacity, just because people were like iffy on them when they come back. I know one thing we're doing now at Biner is we're always doing online classes. So we're offering those online courses, trying to keep everybody, like you said, trying to keep the community together as best we can, working together, holding classes, doing certain things together. So at least people feel like we're still all kind of in it together. But in talking about that, recently, the last couple of days, I think it's about 200 gyms came out and said that they were looking that they were going to try to open up regardless of the government's mandate to say that we can't open up yet. I know our gym, we're not doing it because we're like, we don't really see the point in trying to defy the government for this reason. But I did want to talk to you about it, being, you are one of the staple gyms of Montreal and even more of Quebec. So what is your opinion on, like, what's your impression of them doing this and trying to open up and do you feel like it's more of like a tactic to try to get the government to maybe look at gyms and try to see, like, are there certain things that gyms can do? Can they do private training? Or do you think it's just more like of a clear defiance of like, we don't want to be told what to do?
Whoa. So first of all, we decided that, for YUL, we decided not to defy the government simply because, I may be against what the government is doing right now about closing gyms, because I'm absolutely convinced that we can find solutions to make it safe for people. I also am not the government, and I am not making these decisions, and I do not want to be the government making these decisions. It must be the toughest thing to do, knowing that you have to shoot one of your foot. Which one am I going to shoot? I don't want to be the government. Now, in terms of these gyms, I don't know their situations. There might be facing the wall, and if they don't do that, they don't try to open, they might be just crashing and closing doors. So I don't know there, so I can't, there's no judgment there. I'm just not going to do something that is illegal, even though, like, the fines, you can dispute them. I'm not going to fight that. Otherwise, then our values as Canadians and our values as a North American country fall down. Like, we don't fight like that. Like, we don't do that. We talk, we discuss, we argue, and we understand each other to work on a better solution potentially. We don't fight like that simply because imagine people not liking the stop signs, and now all of a sudden they don't stop at stop signs. That would create a chaos. You drive on the right side on the street, you don't drive on the left side, that you like it or not. They say close. Okay, I'm against that. but I will respect what you're saying because I'm Canadian and I have my values. I'm not a sheep. I'm not following. I'm just respecting, because to those who say that, if you don't open, you're a sheep, you're following the government and, you're afraid to say what you think. Well, I'm saying right now what I think. I'm not a sheep. And I disagree with this decision. I think that we can bring solutions, but I also think that the government is not ready yet to listen to us for that. So these 200 gyms that want to do that, I heard though this morning that there is a word, or that they're not going to open, and they're obviously not going to defy the government. Maybe some are going to do this, and they're going to have to face the consequences. Good for them, but I don't think it's the right values or the right guidance that you're giving or showing your members by doing. I mean, that's my opinion. Now, again, it's a good thing that those 200 gyms, voiced their opinion like that, because now we may get some of the government officials looking at us and see what's going on. But we have to be prudent, and we need to go in a way where if you have an argument with somebody, raising your voice or doing something that this other person would not like would kind of shut the discussion down. So what we need to do is really understand why the government is doing this, and then offer solutions and be ready to have a no as an answer. Like we're getting a no. Okay, good. What is the next step? What can we do? How can we do this? Could we stick together as business owners and gym owners and coaches all together to keep educating people? Probably. So, I'm not for opening a gym against the law, and I'm not against those who are going to do that or might do that or not, will or will not do that or say they will. I'm not against that. I understand that situations can be different. But at the same time, we're trying to bring values through our business to our members.
That's right. Yeah.
Since you've done your level 1, you know who Greg Glassman is, and
of course, yeah. I mean, and that's another thing we can talk about. I think it's the first time that and I was saying this to my girlfriend because we were rewatching day 3 because she missed day 3.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you follow the Buttery Bros. They're the guys who did the last documentary on the last games, but they're doing it again on this games. Yeah. I watched them on YouTube. But they had the current guy, I forget his name, who
Eric Rogan.
That's right. Who is, and I was watching him because he did the final workout after with them.
Yeah.
And I said to my girlfriend, I'm like, I think out of this current time that we're in, I think one of the things that we are taking away from this era that we're living in is that this idea of legacy and staying in a position too long, I think is starting to become very much apparent in our world. Although Glassman created CrossFit for the most part and came up with the ideology and the methodology and everything, I think what was important kind of with the change of guard was that Glassman started it, but I think he got to a point to where he became disconnected from the community and became more of like a king on a hill, kind of telling everybody else, like, this is how we do things. This is what's going to happen. This is how it is. Because even watching him in certain conversations that he was having with different YouTubers about CrossFit and everything, you kind of got this feeling from him that he had this kind of like, I'm not going to say high and mighty feeling, but kind of like he didn't quite know how to connect to people almost anymore. It's kind of like he was like kind of dictating to people, what's going on. Yeah. Whereas with the new guy, Rosa, you get a real feeling that this guy, he's owned a gym. He participates in CrossFit. He's done competitions. He knows what it's about. He's happy about the community. And I think you even see it in the athletes themselves that they feel better represented by this guy. Whereas Glassman kind of seemed like an opposition. He kind of seemed like, the business guy at the top, like in the tower, telling guys, this is what we're doing. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Too bad, so sad. Like, that's the thing. Where this guy's kind of like on the field, playing around, having fun with everybody. And it had a real kind of like family vibe to it. You know what I mean? Like that community feeling, I felt, at least for me, felt like it returned with the changing of the guard and bringing over this new guy.
Well, it seemed that CrossFit has had evolved. It evolves every day, and it evolves every year, as you can see. But it had evolved in a way that Glassman was maybe not a part of it. We can't forget everything that he brought to CrossFit and how he started this movement.
Of course,
but obviously, it was more of a one-man show rather than a multiple people developing greater movement potentially. It got so big that obviously being one man is very, very tough to start leading the way. So I mean, that he made mistakes or not, from the view that we have from social media, horrible, not good at all. I know Glassman almost personally. I was able and lucky enough to have his personal contact, and so I think it's important to not throw anybody under the bus until we have different points of views, and everything we saw was a perception. I'm absolutely against everything that was said regarding Floyd and everything that interpreted. I think it's a great thing having Eric Rosa and a guy with shoulders like him coming to CrossFit. I think it's going to be the future of CrossFit is just fantastic. If we think that we are plateauing, no, not at all. Like you just,
I don't think so.
No. If you look at the CrossFit Games and the solutions they found, we thank Dave Castro, awesome, but it's a team, it's a whole thing. It's not. Dave Castro didn't just wake up one morning and say, "Whoa, we should do the games like that." Like they really worked this out. And honestly, I don't know if you watched, but I mean,
I watched everything. Beginning to end, the whole thing.
This brought so much positivity in our daily life as CrossFitters because we were. I mean, I was pumped this weekend. I was yelling at Jeff Adler. Let's go.
That's it, right? Weren't you like, Canada? Yes, let's go.
I love the United States, but come on, Canada.
No, man, you got it. When he beat him in the deadlift, I was like, yes, all right, we got something. We got one thing. We got the deadlift. We're good at deadlift. All right.
Well, the deadlift and also the bike event. What the hell?
Oh, yeah.
I was standing up and yelling. What the heck? So I'm a swimmer. When he comes back from Florida, I'm going to tell him, "Yo, listen, bro, I'm going to. You got to jump faster in this pool, and you've got to breathe. What the hell?"
But you know what? That's one thing that I've always. This is why I'm so. I love CrossFit, and I wanted to take the level 1, and eventually I want to do level 2, and maybe eventually one day level 3, and do all that kind of stuff. Is because for me. And especially even where I'm training now, I do take a lot of those ideologies, a lot of those methodologies and apply it in what I do now, because I believe CrossFit is one of those sports but also in a training regime that is truly adaptable and really doesn't get stuck on itself. Like I find like when you do a lot of other training regimens, they're all fantastic. And depending on who you are and how you're made up, what you do, whatever you fall in love with, I'm a firm believer that's what you should do. Yeah. But in having played sports, trained a lot specifically for sports, trained to just train, yoga, everything, have tried a large gamut of things. The one thing that's always really got me pumped about CrossFit is that there will always be something you're good at, and there will always be something that you are absolutely horrible at. And you'll dread it, and it'll force you to get better at it, because you don't want to be that guy in the gym who, when everybody else is doing handstand push-ups and you're stuck there because you have to keep kipping up and standing up because you can't get another rep out of your arms, or you're trying to do your pull-ups and your pull-ups are terrible, or whatever it is, or you don't want to get on that assault bike. It's just the idea of that I don't want to get beat by this thing, to me, just really resonates with me, because that's just always been a thing with me, is I got to find something that I'm going to hit the wall at and that I got to push through. And it's one of those things of why I've always liked CrossFit. The community also is next to none.
What's fantastic about CrossFit is the education we get to give to people. It's you could totally get education from bodybuilding or any other sport that you could do in the gym, but here this is education about life. I love to compete in CrossFit, but I'm not the same as when I was 30. I'm 38 now, and it's not the same.
All right, we're the same age. There you go. All right, there you go. But you're way stronger than me. So yeah.
When were you born?
82.
Yeah, but what month?
May of 82.
May.
I think we're actually born a couple of days. I'm the 17th.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm the 2nd.
Yeah, so we're right there. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's I can see through age that fitness is not just about smashing workouts. It's about, there's a bigger thing in this. It's today I went to the gym, and it's sad to work out alone, but that's what it is. It's not fun, but I'm lucky enough to have the keys and go. But when I have to motivate myself for heavy squats or whatever, I know enough of the impact on my health longer term to keep going and make it evolve. I know where my weaknesses are, and I'm trying to do that for myself so I can show it to others. As much as I can, instead of telling people, I'm going to show them that I can do it as well. It's not easy, but that's what I like about CrossFit. It's all about educating people on bettering themselves every day, and that's all. It's awesome to see how it's evolving so quick and with so many things. 10 years ago, it wasn't like that.
So I still remember that first CrossFit Games I watched, when they went and did the ocean swim, and I think it was half the field or something didn't finish. They all they had guys who literally jumped in the water and had no idea how to swim, and they had to get the paddle boats out there to take them out. I was like, okay, you see, this is what he's talking about. You can't get comfortable. You can't just be a power lifter and get into CrossFit. You can't be just a guy who runs and be in CrossFit.
How did you discover CrossFit?
So I was, after I finished playing football, I got into rugby. And then, because rugby and football are a little bit different, rugby's more of a marathon as opposed to football, which is basically it's sprint. I started looking into different training regimens, because just going in the gym and doing some, explosive, do some plyometrics and stuff, it's good for football, and weightlifting, okay for football, but rugby is kind of a different thing. So I started looking up and saw Olympic lifting. Started with Olympic lifting, and then it just so happened that at UPT they had Olympic lifting and CrossFit, and I was like, I'm like, well, I hate running by myself, and I hate doing these stupid things where I work my cardio by myself. So I was like, let me try out this CrossFit thing and see how that works out. And so I started doing the CrossFit thing, and being a dumb jock and being, a football player, be like, whatever, this isn't hard. We run all the time. So first workout I did, they wouldn't let me go full speed, because they were great CrossFit coaches, and they're like, you're not doing that. But second, third, fourth week I got in there, the first time they're like, okay, the leash is off, go for it full speed, get it. I remember we were doing 400-meter runs, wall balls, and toes to bar. And first 3 rounds, I went out full out on the run, came back, did my wall balls, jumped up, tried to get my legs to swing up, and I literally couldn't get my legs past my hips. Like, I could not get my toes to come up, and I was just like, and then the run got longer, wall balls got worse, and I just started saying, like, man, this is way harder than I thought it was. And it just, from that point on, it was just kind of like, okay, I respect this now. This is hard. This is not easy. Okay, let's give this its just due, and let's go for it. And I took a little time off because work and different things, but I came back. And then when I decided to do personal training and stuff, I was like, you know what? Like, I got to go back to CrossFit, and I got to get my level 1 because I see the difference it makes in people's lives. I see the difference. For me personally, being a trainer, being a CrossFit coach, the thing I love the most is when someone who thought they couldn't do something does it. Or someone who is like, I can't really push that hard or whatever, and they come in the gym one day and they decide to give it a go, and they end up being one of the top people in the class, where they just end up beating their time way better than they ever did, squat more, do more. And I think as good coaches, and like you said, people who care, I think that's what we live for. Like you said, I do this for no money. If I could live and not get paid a cent to do this, and I didn't have to worry about, putting food on the table, feeding my daughter, taking care of life, I'd still do this. I'd do this for everybody because I really love the ability to enable people to, like you said, live a healthier lifestyle. Absolutely. And to bring it full circle to what we're talking about, I think the hardest part of this whole thing is not being able to do what we love. I think we all understand as coaches that we are in unprecedented times, and that a lot of people are scared. And I think politicians, especially in Canada, I can't speak for the other parts of the world, but I know especially in Canada, they don't want to close us down because it doesn't help anybody, especially in Canada, to close businesses, to stop us from working because they can't collect taxes. The economy doesn't run properly. People are aggravated and unhealthy. It puts people in a really bad situation. Domestic violence is up, drug abuse is up, suicides are up because people are stuck at home and they got nothing to do. I think we understand all that. Like you said before about the 200, at least from my opinion, for the 200 gyms that are not, I'm not going to say threatening, but are saying that they want to open. Mm-hmm. I think what they're trying to do, and especially for Biner, for us, and for the CrossFit gyms too, I think all we really want is we just want to say that, like, listen, before you closed last time, we spent a ton of money, which we didn't necessarily have, on putting up glass enclosures to make sure that people weren't sweating on each other. We were social distancing in the gym. We were controlling who was coming in and out. We got thermometers to come at the beginning. There is hand sanitizer places, like 3 or 4 places around the gym. There is cleaner everywhere. We got 2 ionizer guns. We got the Ghostbuster pack, the one that sits on the back where we spray down the entire gym. We got the handheld gun. I mean, there's really nothing, like, aside from coming in a hazmat suit, there's really nothing more we really could see doing to make people feel safer. Yeah. So for us, it was a question of, we understand what you're doing, but are you really taking the time to kind of look at everything that's going on and all the things we're trying to do to make sure that this is the best avenue? Yeah. And is there a way that we can, like you said, is there a way for us to meet somewhere in a middle ground where, at least for me, what I would like to see is, because I know estheticians are open, masseuses are open, physiotherapists are open, and I don't want anybody to close. But for the same reason for me, I'm like, okay, well then can I do PT then? Can I bring somebody into the gym? Can we not close down gyms to the point to where you're saying, I can't have a one-on-one training with one of my clients? Like, we can social distance. I don't necessarily need to touch them. I don't need to, we don't need to be in any kind of danger as far as shifting fluids or anything like that. But can we at least look at that and see if there's some kind of compromise that could be put in place so that we can run the business to some extent, as opposed to just a blanket shutdown and say, like, not going to happen. We're shut down. You guys aren't doing anything. Finish finito. I think that's where the frustration comes in for people, is we just feel like we've been pushed to the side and said, like we shut you guys down before. It seemed to work. We're going to shut you guys down again because that's what's got to happen.
Yeah, obviously, I think we should go with a positive way of fighting back, which is educating people. You know, if we could prove that we are part of educating, you know, like, and teaching people to be healthier, then, you know, the big problem right now is the health system can't support this. You know, they can't support the COVID. Like,
that's right.
That we are open or closed, you know, like, we can't support it. We are almost at max, and they're, you know, that we could say they're lying or not. Okay, good. Well, there are people with cancer or diabetes and that can't get treatment right now because of that.
Yeah.
Well, what we need to be doing is teach our governments that working on our the word fitness is so big that it's very, very, very tough to see what's going on. So the word fitness englobes every thing that we could do in a gym, you know, from spinning to whatever. Name a class, and they see us functional training as a class. What we're doing is we're teaching stuff that people can use outside the gym. You know, they can have that. It will have an impact on their health. It will. And so what we need to do is teach them. You know, imagine if one of the government officials, imagine if Legault or Dr. Arruda would participate in a level 1. Imagine just that, just to explain the pyramid, or our take on nutrition, our take on programming simply workouts for everybody, adapting, scaling, the intensity level, what it does to the body. We're such a young sport. We're just at the beginning of shaking everything we thought we knew about the human body and physical activity and fitness. You know, I was lucky enough that my parents put me in a university to study about the human body, and so it was great. It was awesome, and what I've learned is fantastic. But it wasn't what I've learned since I opened my gym and since I've done my seminars and learned. I'm not saying that the seminars are better than university. What I'm saying is it has evolved, right? And so the old school system is still into our government. It's going to take a few generations. You have a daughter that you mentioned. Well, I am sure that your daughter will learn differently from you, right, about fitness than from what we both learned from our parents. You know, so what we need to do is carry the flag, no matter what. You know, we're getting attacked by this virus, by the decision of our government to close. Okay, we cannot drop the flag. We cannot do that. Like, it's I just watched. So I have more time on my hands right now to,
of course,
to watch Netflix, and I just rewatched The Patriot with Mel Gibson. You know, like, he, at the end of the movie, grabs the flag and runs against his fellow soldiers, you know, running away from the fight. And he says, no. And he carries the flag, and just by carrying the flag, they turned around and fought. Okay, that's a movie. But we could do the same. What we need to do is do not drop the ball. Like, we have the ball where we have this flag of fitness. We got to keep going. And it starts with, your family, my friends. We got to tell them, you know, this second lockdown will not have the same impact on me that it had at the first one. The first one was depressing, sad. It wasn't fun. At first, it was okay. But then you're like, well, dude, I'm fed up of dessert. I'm fed up of those TikTok videos. I'm fed up of, you know, right now, it's like shit, you know?
Yeah.
But the second lockdown, okay, we got to close. Nothing I can do about this except, voice my opinion. I'm voicing it. What else?
Yeah.
Let's actually do something. We've seen what it does. 3 months of locking down, and June 22nd, we reopened, and we see people that are like nearly, completely handicapped because of their lack of fitness. Good. It's my responsibility now to minimize that with everybody around me, that, members or not members. And I'll do it through every platform possible,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
it's important. At the end of the day, if I'm telling you on this video, if YUL crashes, I don't care. I don't care. I'll do everything to save it. I'll do everything so I can go to bed at night. But if it crashes, who cares? At the end of the day, what's my biggest mission? It's to use YUL to potentially educate people. Perfect. Without YUL, can I not educate people? Yes. Is it going to be harder? Yes. But am I going to stop? No. So, shit.
I think it's the reality. It's the reality of our business is that, like you said before, I can't say that I've ever really taken the community you build for granted, because I never have. Because for me, one of the hardest things growing up, I was a real introvert. Like, I didn't like talking in front of people. I didn't like educating, but through having to be a coach, you kind of learn to push all those feelings aside and say, like, listen, just be yourself, just be honest, know what you know and what you don't know, go figure out, go find it, and people will resonate to that. And it's true, they have. But the one thing you do, like you said, is you do take up that father figure or important position where, for me, if someone I've trained even in the past who comes to me and says, hey, listen, I'm having some issue with my hips. I feel like I'm not doing this properly. The first thing that comes out of my mouth is not like, okay, well, let's set up a time for a session and whatever and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm like, no. I'm like, okay. I'm like, listen, is it a complex problem? Like, is it something that is it something that just happened? Is it something that you just need like a quick couple of sentences to talk about? Or is it something that we need to like get on a video call and we can sit there and I'll watch you do what you're doing, or we'll talk about it, so that you can feel better about yourself. Mm-hmm. Like you said, it's a real responsibility to try to endow that knowledge onto people and to not have them afraid or feel like there's a paywall between their physical fitness, their health, and their ability, and like you. Because that's something that I've always hated. Like, I've worked in a couple of different places. I've worked with a couple of different people. And it's one thing that always rubbed me the wrong way, is that I have a hard enough time asking people for money. I'm one of those people where like I said, I do this for free. So when I see other people where I feel like they're really kind of taking advantage, or they're really kind of putting that screen between getting physically fit, really trying to get physically fit, and having to pay whatever money that they may not have, I don't like that. Like, I just don't. And I take it, like you said, I take it as a real like anointing, that you need to make sure that you are here doing this job because you care about people and you want people to do better for themselves, because they'll be better in society. Society will be better for it. We'll all be happier. It's a trickle down effect. So, but yeah, I agree with you 100% that this is an unprecedented time that we're really dealing with, and especially with gyms and everything. That's why I wanted to talk to you, because you're one of like the premier gym owners in Montreal. Everybody knows YUL, and I think a lot of people are going to be actually surprised to be like YUL may close. Like, it may close. That's because I think people hear about these small little businesses close and stuff, but when it hits those homegrown businesses, those staples of communities where we've really kind of always been like, they're always going to be there. It's always one of the gyms. I think that's when it really kind of hits home for people, that this situation just isn't about people getting sick. This situation is about us really having to do what we need to do in the meantime so that we can get back to a certain level of normalcy in life and get everybody back on their feet. Absolutely. Because the 3,000 people at Tam Tams, or just recently the 100 people cabin party that the cops just broke up. I mean, it may seem like, oh, it's not that big a deal, but I mean, the unfortunate thing is this is where the majority of outbreaks end up occurring, is because people just don't want to follow the protocol because they feel like the government is trying to keep them corralled. Like the government is doing this because they're addicted to power or something. It's like this is a real situation. My cousin got COVID and she lost her taste of smell and taste for like 2 months. Because even for me personally, I was like, yeah, okay, COVID, whatever. It's another cold. I don't care. It's whatever. I'm going to do what everybody tells me to do. But okay, if you're really old, stay away. If you have a health issue, stay away. But I'm going to follow protocol, but I'm not sincerely worried. But then when my cousin's like, yeah, I got it. I lost my sense of smell. I wasn't feeling good. All this kind of, I was like, oh, okay. So yeah. All right. Maybe I should stop being a dumbass. And you know what I mean? Kind of like,
we gotta be careful. We gotta show the example. We're leaders in our industry, and we need to stay like that. I'm gonna risk everything possible to save, obviously, YUL, and right now it's okay, or it's going to survive. But I'm ready to risk absolutely everything to help out my members, and that's what it is. Like the thing is, it's better. Again, that word of educating and caring is what's the most important, and that's what we need to absolutely do all the time, caring and educating. And then after that, well, we see what happens. And right now, cross fingers and see what's going on.
Yeah, I feel. All right, dude, I really appreciate you taking this time. I know you're a super busy guy, and I know you got a lot of stuff on your plate and you got things to do. I really appreciate you taking this little hour to talk to me and discuss everything that's going on. All the best for YUL. Everything else, if there's ever anything you need or whatever anybody can do, please reach out to me. I'll try to reach out to whoever I can to help you out. And thanks so much, Mike. Appreciate everything.
One thing you should do is as soon as we reopen, come for a workout. It'll be fun.
you're gonna squat twice as much as me and be like, yeah, okay, thanks, whatever.
Well, it's about the camaraderie. It's about the camaraderie.
100%. As soon as things open up, everything gets back to normal. I'll definitely come and hang out, and we'll have fun sweating. And I'll let you. You can laugh at me while you beat the crap out of me in a workout.
Well, it's not so much about that. It's about the friendship and the push. So like right, if you push hard, it'll make me push hard, and it'll be at our own levels, and you'll be surprised. I'm sure you're pretty fit.
I'm okay fit, but like I'm not a Mike fit. I follow Mike. I follow you on Instagram and everything. Like I see the things you're doing. Like I'm like, yeah, that guy. That's the fit guy. That's the dude right there. That's the pinnacle. Well, all right, buddy. Very much appreciate you. Have a great night. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Perfect. See you, bro.
Thanks, bud.